What's up, guys? Welcome back to Let's Play Sengoku Basara 2! I'm always torn whether or not I should say the whole title or just Basara. Of course, I guess as we get later into the series, it's going to be more easy just to say Basara. Especially the very next game that we're doing, Basara 2 Heroes. You're never going to hear me say Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes, because that's just a ridiculously long title. Just like you're never going to hear me say Fate Extella the Umbral Star, because there's just no need for that. Alright, so we now have... wow! So without any real need for explanation, we're going to be showing off Takanaka Hanbei's new secondary attack that we unlocked. And it is pretty obscene, so it just lets us basically bitch slap enemies across the map. And it also drastically increases his movement speed, but there's a bit of a drawback to it as it slowly drains his health while he's using it. But it's good for... it's great for movement optimization, and it's a great, risk versus reward style move. So I definitely, I think my controller died there, that's what happened, so I think we're good now. But, yeah, no, it's very, very good, so I will be using that now, and I'll be using it in the final fight as well, but very, very good for covering ground here. So we're up against Masamune again. It does some significant damage, but it just launches the enemies so far away that a lot of times they can't get hit multiple times by it, which is kind of annoying. But overall, I like it. I like that, and I like the two of the other moves we've shown off so far. So it's going to be hard to pick when I go into the final fight which ones I want to have, but I think I may pick this one, and then the rapid slash thing we demonstrated in the very first fight with Hanbei. So that might be what I end up going with. I'm going to be very wary of this. Of these cavalry units here, because they're kind of in a bad spot. So that's a really interesting bottleneck placement he has there. So I'm going to try not to mess with that, because that would be bad. So Masamune, obviously taking his namesake literally, has installed flaming dragon statue heads here because I don't know. Maybe they are the flame dragon head things from Castlevania, and he just likes them to have as lawn ornaments. Anyway, so we're gonna have to fight Kojiro to get to Masamune, obviously. So this just pains me to see. This is just straight up embarrassing. Look at how much damage we're dealing and how quickly he's dying, which is a real shame. As much as I love these characters, I certainly have to beat up on them quite a lot, which is really kind of aggravating. Kojiro especially, like, as much as I love the character, I have had to fight him like 3 times already. Well, maybe not many that times, but I've had to fight him at least twice now, and I have had to fight him 3 times now, and I'm just done. I want to play as him already. So after we play as Hideyoshi, we'll be able to play as Kojiro in Basara 2 Heroes. So Takanaka Hanbei's other secondary attack, which I haven't really been able to show off, is sort of like, it's similar to Masamune's War Dance, where he has to kind of charge it up a little bit there, and then he enhances the power of his sword. He doesn't have any different movement animations or cover any large... All these guys just ran into the fire for some reason. Doesn't really cover any more distance like that, but it does stun enemies and deal some extra damage, so it's pretty good. I mean, really, there's not a good opportunity to use it very much, so you probably won't see me use it all that often. But I like it. As soon as we get it established, we can just keep running forward and hitting enemies with it. And it's not bad. It looks like Hanbei does his little signature hand wavy motion there, maybe indicating he's coughing up blood some more or something like that. So, yeah, we're going through this map really quick with the other ability, though. So anyway, as I established earlier on in the game... Ooh, I'm going to actually interrupt myself there. I really like, I mentioned this earlier on in the LP, but I really like the Date Clan command units that have the yellow vests like that. It definitely kind of makes them stand out as the leaders. But, anyway, so in the anime, Takanaka Hanbei, as I said before, managed to destabilize Masamune and his army by kidnapping Kojiro. So that resulted in Masamune acting recklessly and not having his tactician to keep his head level. And so Masamune's naivete and his fiery temper got to him, and he ended up splitting his army into 3 places to deal with a local insurrection. And then after his forces were completely exhausted, and he was himself exhausted from fighting all day, that Takanaka Hanbei showed up and just kind of finished him off. And it's almost like an embarrassing, like, he's just kind of slapping him in the face with that defeat, because it wasn't like he really injured him all that bad. It was more so because Hideyoshi shows up later as well. But Takanaka Hanbei, in the anime's continuity, was the first and only person to ever hit Masamune in the back, which was a big deal. Huh, I guess we have to fight them both at the same time here. Kind of reminds me of these two versus a certain other white-haired character that you guys probably know who I'm referring to. We won't see that until Basara 3, though. So this is actually really, in terms of gameplay, this is actually really dangerous, because these two can just... The two of them combined is a very, very deadly combination, obviously, as it should be. Respectfully so. So I may have to get really cheesy and just abuse that ability again. Again, there's very little they can do really to respond to that. They can't really block it in any kind of way. I wish there was almost like a versus mechanic to this game to see how well other player characters could respond to things like that. But yeah, it's just not fair at all. There really is nothing they can do. And much like in the previous campaign with Motochika, Kojiro is significantly weaker now than he was when we fought him before, so he should go down pretty quick. Also similar to Oichi and Azai Nagamasa in the first fight with Hanbei. So now it's just one-on-one, which should make things a lot easier, although Masamune's gauge is full, so we want to be careful about that. Yeah, if you hit triangle again after you've started that attack, you can kind of screech to a halt like that, and they'll do one little final swing, just like that. But if you keep hitting X, oh, he got us really good there. So he used War Dance and comboed us pretty good there, finished us off with Magnum Step. He took about half our health away. So that's not nice, but I think we'll get the upper hand eventually. I know everything I said about the anime, but in general, Takanaka Hanbei is not quite as fast as Masamune is. Masamune is a bit more agile gameplay-wise, so we have a little bit of a disadvantage here. But we're the player character, so we're inherently overpowered anyway. Doesn't look like there's any more health around here, so we might have to deal with him with what we have. Man, he's coming up behind us quick. You gotta be careful, because the lower I get him on health, he may run the risk of having his gauge replenish automatically, which is what's happening now. And I can't get hit too many more times or else I'll get killed. Almost. Yeah, this could be really bad. He used his gauge again. I just kind of have to block it and deal with it. There we go. Not too bad. Don't worry, Masamune. I know we beat up on you a lot over the since we played as you at the very beginning of the first game's Let's Play, but don't worry, you'll get your time to shine very soon.